First, I want to thank the Wild Sheep Foundation for providing us the opportunity to present the Conklin Award at this great show. Especially, I want to thank Gray Thornton and Kim Nieders. Our winner this year, Eduardo Negrete, is a very accomplished hunter. He has taken 237 Conklin animals in 22 years. This includes 65 sheep and 58 goats. We do due diligence on our finalists and call many outfitters to evaluate our candidates. Every outfitter I called raved about Eduardo, both as a person and as a hunter. Jason Roussos of Ethiopian Rift Valley Safaris called Eduardo a hunter's hunter. We are very proud Eduardo is this year's Conklin Award winner. Let's do the video now, please.
The Conklin, known as the Tough Man Award. The Conklin may be the most difficult hunting milestone to achieve. Hunters with aspirations of holding the Conklin must push the limits of body and mind and canvass the globe for the most difficult of big game species. They must stand toe-to-toe with dangerous animals, climb into the realm of mountain sheep and goats, challenge frigid Arctic ice, equatorial rains, river torrents, and searing desert heat. The Conklin Award was named after Dr. James Conklin, a man that had a passion for life and the toughest hunts in the world. The list of the Conklin Award recipients include the most respected big game hunters in the world, including Donald Cox, Gary Ingersoll, Jesus Joren, Pete Papik, Dr. Bob Spiegel, William Poole, Craig Boddington, Larry Higgins, Tom Hammond, Ken Barr, Pepe Madrazo, Edward Yates, J. Allen Smith, Renee Snyder, Jim Shockey, Alexander Egorov, Jay Link, Alan Sackman, Bela Hidvegi, Sergei Yastrezemsky, Dr. Bradford Black, and the 2024 Conklin Foundation Award recipient, Eduardo Negrete. Eduardo Negrete embodies the Conklin spirit and all that the Conklin Foundation represents. His quiet grit and determination is remarkable. He is a man of character and integrity, with a deep love of the natural world. Eduardo was born in Mexico City. He is the middle child of Gervasio and Magdalena Negrete. He has an older brother, Gervasio, and a younger sister, Cynthia. Eduardo has been married to his wife, Julia, for 28 years. They have 2 children, Julia and Eduardo. The one constant in Eduardo's life has always been family and nature.
When I was very young, I always loved the outdoors. I loved being outdoors. My uncles on my mother's side always took us hunting and fishing, my brother and me. And we just loved it so much, being with them and getting to be with nature. That has always been the best for both my brother and myself. And that was pretty much all my younger years until 2001. 2001, I made a plan with my brother to go to Africa. We went to South Africa and Zimbabwe. Just hooked me forever. I mean, it changed me. I'm pretty sure there's Eduardo before 2001 and after 2001, because I just realized that it's still possible at this day and age to be out in the wild with the beautiful creatures that God created and just enjoying them and just being a wild person.
That trip to Africa changed things forever. Eduardo heard the call of the wild, and he answered it. Since 2001, Africa has been a constant in Eduardo's life. His love of Africa has never faded. It has only fueled his desire to explore other wild places. especially the rugged mountains of this world.
I believe what really makes mountain hunters become mountain hunters is the suffering that you have to go through, the pain you have to go through, the pressing of yourself not only physically but mentally, to have to keep going to the next mountain, to the next ridge, cross the next river. All that, if you don't do it once, you will never understand it, because you say, how do you go through so much pain, so many blisters, so many suffering, just to be out there chasing an animal in their native habitat? And I think that's really what makes a mountain hunter exactly that. He or she has to be able to overcome everything that could go against them. And once you finally get your animal and you have it in your hands, you start making plans for the next one, because everything was worth it, and you cannot remember all the bad parts. You can just remember the good parts, and you keep going.
One of the things that makes my father want to do these difficult things and go to these countries, and I think is of course nature and exploring. I think what keeps him going and what makes him like crazy in some sort of way is his stubbornness, for sure. He puts a goal in his mind and he has to complete it at all costs. The most impressive thing about my dad, I think, is that he's a great father. Every time that I have needed him, he's always been there for me, showing me nature and showing me fishing, hunting. I just love that part of him.
I think my father loves the outdoors because he's able to find a certain peace and tranquility in nature, because he's a very simple man. He's very down to earth, and being in nature allows him to be that person, to be who he truly is. And he loves hunting for the challenge it represents for him. He's always able to challenge himself more in a physical way, and in an emotional way, I think, as well, because all the time he's put in these situations that are very extreme, in extreme environments, and he loves the challenge of it, and I admire him a lot for it.
Eduardo and I first met on a blind date. He began talking about nature, and we began talking about animals, and he gave me engagement ring at the third month we met. Everything he does, he puts his heart on it. He loves challenges. He's very stubborn, very, very. Hunting for him is his passion. And being in nature, he lives his freedom and his love of nature, and he loves conservation. And that's the way he lives through hunting.
Eduardo Negrete, 2024 Conklin Award winner.
Good evening to everyone. First of all, I want to thank Dr. Bradford Black. Without his intervention, help, and friendship, I would never be here with this award. I also want to thank Rini, Rex, Gary, Alan, and the Conklin board members that supported me, even when some made up stories and made up lies about me. I want to thank my family for their comprehension, supporting my craziness, dealing with my absences. I know it was very tough on you. I apologize for that, and I love you. There's some very dear friends tonight, the Martinez, the Martin, and Oliver families. When one friend becomes even closer than family, it's very special, and that's what we have with them. I want to thank all the outfitters, guides, wranglers, trackers, skinners, cooks, and everybody in camp that I shared adventures and hunting camps with. I have always believed that the hunt is really our hunt, and it's our trophy. It's never a one-person deal. Without their tremendous help and company, the journey would have been very different. Of course, I need to thank God, our Creator, He has protected, guided, and been with me always. Thank you very much for all your time, and have a very good night.